Chapter 1036. In the past, Venerable Kai Kuei had always been in the vicinity and had never interacted with the world's heroes. He had long heard that this generation of geniuses was full of experts and that the combat strength of the younger generation was incomparably terrifying. However, it was only hearsay, and he did not take it to heart. No matter how great a genius was, so long as one hadn't stepped into the domain enlightened spirit god realm, then how strong could one be? But now, he realized that he was really strong, far beyond his expectations. It could only be said that his talent limited his imagination. Whoosh, whoosh. The battle between the three of them was filled with unbridled energy. Many of the energy streams rained down on the heavenly vermilion tree, causing the light barrier around the heavenly vermilion tree to tremble violently. In the end, it actually exploded with a bang. The formation was originally about to be broken, but under the powerful strength of the three people, it was easily broken. After the formation was broken, the three's gazes landed on the heavenly cinnabar fruit. The hellhound roared and was about to pounce on the heavenly vermilion fruit tree. Don't even think about it. Lu Ming threw out a few punches in succession. Every punch seemed to be able to shatter space as it blasted towards the hell dog. At the same time, Jing Kongling also suppressed the hell dog. The two of them firmly blocked the Cerberus. Dandan. Lu Ming called out. Leave it to me. Dandan transformed into a streak of light and pounced towards the heavenly vermilion tree. If I can't get it, don't even think about getting it. The Cerberus let out a furious roar as flames burst out from its body, spreading in all directions. Some of the flames were aimed at Lu Ming and Jing Kongling, while others were aimed at the vermilion tree. He wanted to destroy the vermilion sky fruit tree. Nestle. Dandan cursed angrily as he slashed out with his claws. Suddenly, countless inscriptions appeared in the sky, forming a formation to block the flames. At the same time, he opened his mouth and sucked in the sky cinnabar fruits. After swallowing a few, he ran to the other side and grabbed a few more heaven cinnabar fruits with his claws, stuffing them into his mouth. Whoosh, whoosh. He waved his claws and instantly grabbed a dozen heavenly cinnabar fruits. And this heaven vermilion fruit tree only had a total of a dozen heaven vermilion fruits, and almost all of them had already been plucked by Dandan. Boom! At this moment, the formation set up by Dandan was penetrated by the flames. Boundless flames rained down on the heavenly vermilion tree. Dandan couldn't be bothered to care about it. It ran away and landed on Lu Ming's shoulder. As the flames fell, the heavenly vermilion tree was instantly reduced to ashes. Hand over the vermilion fruit. Venerable Kai Kuei roared. Nonsense. Kill. Lu Ming's Zhen Yuan erupted crazily. At this moment, he pushed the suppressing hell heavenly skill to the limit. His Zhen Yuan was instantly sucked dry, but the power he released was still terrifying. Under this punch, the hell dog let out a blood-curdling scream and staggered back. Then, the pure emptiness spirit speed pressed down and forced the hell dog back. Damn it, just you wait. Seeing that there was no longer any hope of obtaining the vermilion heaven fruit, Venerable Kai Kuei left behind a ruthless sentence, turned around and left, disappearing in the blink of an eye. Wang. The bead shook, and Jing Kongling returned to his human form. She looked at Lu Ming with eyes full of surprise. Lu Ming's battle strength seemed to be stronger than when he fought with Sanguinarum. More importantly, Lu Ming had not activated his bloodline, which made her feel that Lu Ming was unfathomable. Lu Ming looked ahead and frowned slightly, saying, Miss Emptiness Spirit, someone else is coming. Let's get out of here first. Okay. Jing Kongling nodded, and the two flew away. Not long after Lu Ming and Jing Kongling left, a terrifying sonic boom came from afar, and a figure appeared in the air. If Lu Ming was here, he would recognize at a glance that this person was the bald man from Coldblood Hall. The bald man whispered, someone was clearly fighting just now. They must be fighting for the treasure, but now they're gone. They're running pretty fast. Suddenly, the bald man raised his eyebrows and whispered, it's the aura of that boy surnamed Lu. Humph, let's see where you can run to this time. With that, the bald burly man followed the aura and chased in the direction where Lu Ming and the rest had left. Lu Ming and Jing Kongling flew for thousands of miles, and came to a valley. Dandan, How many vermilion heaven fruits did you get? Take them out. Lu Ming looked at Dandan. 15 in total. We'll split them equally, Dandan said. You want to split them equally? Lu Ming stared at him. Of course. Without me, you won't get a single one. Dandan stuck his claws in the ground, looking proud. Brother Lu, it's okay. I have 5, and that's enough. Jing Kongling said. Lu Ming nodded and said, all right, hand over the vermilion heaven fruit. Dandan opened his mouth, and 10 vermilion heaven fruits flew out. Lu Ming took 5, and Jing Kongling took the other 5. Brother Lu, thank you for your help this time. I'm going to find a place to refine the vermilion heaven fruits. I'll take my leave now. Jing Kongling cupped his fists and bid farewell to Lu Ming. I'm also going to find a place to refine the vermilion heaven fruits. Goodbye. Lu Ming also cupped his fists and did not say anything. The two of them flew in different directions. Lu Ming flew for another 1,000 miles, and then punched a small hole in a mountain. He flew in until he reached the belly of the mountain, and then entered the mountain river diagram. Not long after Lu Ming entered the mountain river diagram, the bald man arrived. The aura has disappeared again. There must be some treasure concealing the aura. The person must be nearby. I'll wait nearby. As soon as Lu appears, I'll kill him with lightning speed. The bald man's eyes flickered coldly. He then flew into the sky and hid in the clouds. Lu Ming entered the mountain river diagram and sat with his legs crossed on a mountain peak. Dandan, you must have plucked more than 15 vermilion heaven fruits, right? Lu Ming asked calmly. He knew Dandan too well. He was definitely not telling the truth. Hey, Lu Ming, what do you mean? Are you doubting me? Are you doubting my character? No, my character. Do you know that? Dandan immediately glared at Lu Ming unhappily. What's there to doubt? I don't believe that you only plucked 15 vermilion heaven fruit. Lu Ming replied calmly. Dandan was furious. Under Lu Ming's gaze, he said guiltily, all right, actually I plucked 16. I don't believe you. Lu Ming said calmly. All right, actually it was 17. You're still looking? All right, it's 18. Haha, 20, only 20, really only 20. In the end, Dandan laughed awkwardly and spat out 10 more fruits. He swore to the heavens that this was all he had. Lu Ming was speechless. He knew that this guy would keep it to himself. Lu Ming took out 3 more fruits without hesitation and left 7 for Dandan. Dandan sighed. If not for the fact that he needed Lu Ming to help him find more spiritual herbs, he would have fallen out with Lu Ming. 8 vermilion heaven fruits should be enough. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. He took out a vermilion heaven fruit and enveloped it with devouring power. He began to absorb the medicinal efficacy of the vermilion heaven fruit and cultivate. Chapter 1037. Very soon, the energy of one heavenly cinnabar fruit entered Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming circulated true arts of battle dragon and the boundless energy continuously transformed into Lu Ming's true essence. The speed was unbelievably fast and there was almost no need for him to refine it. Lu Ming's cultivation rose rapidly. In just a few minutes, the energy of one heavenly cinnabar fruit had been completely refined. Lu Ming's cultivation broke through to the middle stage of the 9th level of spirit embryo realm in one go and was still rising. This was simply more boundless than the energy that Lu Ming had absorbed from dozens of martial practitioners with perfect spirit embryo. This heavenly cinnabar fruit is indeed miraculous. It can actually be refined so quickly, Lu Ming exclaimed secretly. He guessed that even normal martial practitioners wouldn't need much time to refine the heavenly cinnabar fruit. Continue. Lu Ming took out another heavenly cinnabar fruit and started to refine it. His cultivation rose like he was sitting on a rocket. Heavenly cinnabar fruit was a rare treasure of heaven and earth and it was too difficult to nurture it. The survival rate was extremely low and the probability of it bearing fruit was also extremely low. Furthermore, a heavenly cinnabar fruit tree wouldn't bear many fruits. Therefore, heavenly cinnabar fruit was almost impossible to buy outside. Its effects were too good and even if a big power nurtured it, it wouldn't be enough. This ancient herb garden had been sealed here for a long time, and there was only one heavenly cinnabar fruit tree. Now, it was destroyed. As he continued to refine, Lu Ming's cultivation rose explosively. After refining 4 heavenly cinnabar fruits, Lu Ming's cultivation rose to the 9th level of spirit embryo realm. Next, he started to break through to the perfect spirit embryo. What I cultivate is true arts of battle dragon and also super spirit sea secret technique. My true essence is much stronger than normal people. 4 heavenly cinnabar fruits might not be enough for me to break through to the perfect spirit embryo. Lu Ming pondered in his heart and couldn't help glancing at Dandan, who wasn't far away. Dandan was crossing his legs and lying on a white cloud facing the sky while gnawing on a stalk of spirit herb leisurely. As if he sensed something, Dandan turned his gaze towards Lu Ming and saw Lu Ming looking at him greedily. He shuddered and asked, "Brat, what are you trying to do?" "Dandan, lend me your 7 heavenly cinnabar fruit." Lu Ming smiled amiably. "Lend it to you? I'm not lending it to you. If I lend it to you, will I be able to return it?" Dandan shouted. "You're really not lending it?" Lu Ming's face sank and he began to fall out with him. Dandan gritted his teeth. "All right, then in the future, if you find any spiritual herbs, don't even think about getting a single one." Lu Ming snorted. "You." Dandan glared angrily and rolled his eyes. Finally, he gritted his teeth and said, "I'll give it to you, I'll give it to you. But in the future, I'll definitely give you more spirit herbs." "Sure." Happy cooperation. Lu Ming smiled again. "How treacherous." Dandan sighed speechlessly and gave the last 7 heavenly cinnabar fruits to Lu Ming. Lu Ming had another 11 heavenly cinnabar fruits in his hands. It should be enough. Roar. 9 dragons appeared and with a long roar, they swallowed all 11 heavenly cinnabar fruits and started to refine them to break through to the next realm. Rumble. Vast and surging energy surged endlessly and rapidly transformed into true essence, helping Lu Ming to break through to the next realm. Endless true essence gathered in the spirit embryo in his dantian and transformed into even purer true essence, gushing out from the spirit embryo. During this process, the spirit embryo became more and more solid and its size became smaller and smaller. Still not enough, just a little more. Lu Ming continuously refined the energy of the heavenly cinnabar fruits. Half an hour later, the energy of all 11 heavenly cinnabar fruits was completely refined and transformed into terrifying true essence that surged within Lu Ming's body. Boom! In the end, something seemed to have been broken, and the aura on Lu Ming's body suddenly skyrocketed. Swoosh! Lu Ming opened his eyes and 2 beams of light burst out. They shot out hundreds of miles and penetrated a mountain peak. Perfect spirit embryo. A faint smile appeared on Lu Ming's face. He'd finally attained perfect spirit embryo, and the next step was to prepare to break through to the domain spirit god realm. But it wasn't so easy to break through to the domain spirit god realm. It wasn't something that could be broken through just by devouring an enormous amount of energy after attaining the domain spirit god realm. Spirit God was nurtured in the spirit embryo. Not only did it require the domain spirit God to break through to the 4th level, but it also required the fusion of one's consciousness and soul into the spirit God. In the end, the spirit embryo would shatter and the spirit God would appear. Moreover, when the spirit God appeared, a lightning tribulation would descend from the heavens. One would have to pass through the terrifying lightning tribulation to officially step into the domain spirit God realm. When breaking through to the martial king realm and condensing runes of domain spirit god realm, there would be a heavenly tribulation. Moreover, its power was extremely terrifying. Many people were annihilated by the heavenly tribulation at the last step. Lu Ming closed his eyes and looked within himself. He discovered that the spirit embryo in his dantian had already become incomparably solid. It was sparkling and translucent like a crystal. Moreover, its size was also extremely small, only the size of a watermelon. Exuberant vitality suffused from it as if it was nurturing a god. Whoosh! Lu Ming opened his eyes and let out a long breath. If I were to encounter Venerable Kai Kuei now, I would be able to kill him if I unleashed my full strength. Feeling the vast amount of true essence in his body, Lu Ming revealed a confident smile. From the early stage of the 9th level of the spirit embryo realm to the perfect spirit embryo, his true essence had increased by too much. Lu Ming's battle prowess had also increased by several times. Haha, Dandan, I'll go out and find more spirit herbs for you. After breaking through, Lu Ming was in a great mood. With a move of his body, he exited the mountain river diagram and broke through the mountain, appearing outside the mountain peak. Swoosh! Just as Lu Ming appeared outside the mountain peak, a terrifying pressure came from above his head. A blood-red axe instantly crossed the distance of 10,000 meters and violently chopped down at Lu Ming. This was a surprise attack without any warning. Lu Ming himself had never imagined that he would be attacked the moment he left the mountain peak. If Lu Ming hadn't broken through, he might have been seriously injured by this attack. But now, with a thought, the mountain river diagram appeared and covered his entire body. At the same time, vast amounts of true essence burst forth as he punched upwards. Even if he was caught off guard and mobilized his true essence at the last moment, the power of this punch was still extremely terrifying. When it collided with the blood-red axe, it gave off a huge boom. Most of the power of the blood-red axe was neutralized and the remaining power was blocked by the mountain river diagram. Lu Ming's body trembled and fell down. Just as he was about to land on the ground, Lu Ming stepped on a branch of a large tree and his body shot up into the sky again. He looked coldly at the person who had ambushed him. It was the bald burly man from Coldblood Hall. At this moment, the bald burly man was slightly astonished. He had never thought that his surprise attack would be blocked by Lu Ming unscathed. His expression was slightly grave. You broke through in your cultivation? Once he sensed Lu Ming's aura, the bald burly man's expression changed drastically. Previously, Lu Ming's battle prowess was already extremely shocking when he was at the early stage of the 9th level of the spirit embryo realm. Now that he had broken through to the perfect spirit embryo realm, how strong would Lu Ming's battle prowess be? The bald burly man's heart was incomparably grave and also extremely inconceivable. Chapter 1038. You again. You won't be leaving today. Lu Ming's eyes were cold and filled with killing intent as he looked at the bald man. It was a good time to settle the score. Brat, don't think you can kill me just because you broke through. The bald man's face darkened. Kill. Lu Ming couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with him. The 9 dragons bloodline appeared, and Lu Ming executed bloodline fusion to transform into 9 dragons. At the same time, the 6 dragon powers in his body erupted. A terrifying power surged in Lu Ming's body. The 9 dragons stepped forward, and the 5-colored concept revolved around them. The 9 claws clawed at the bald man. Rip! When the dragon claws clawed out, the space was torn apart like a piece of paper, causing cracks to appear. So terrifying? The bald man turned pale with fright. To be able to tear apart space with a single claw, it had already reached the level of spirit god. The bald man retreated rapidly, and the blood axe appeared above his head. He executed bloodline fusion to transform into a blood-colored battle axe and cleaved at the 9 dragons. Boom! The blood-colored battle axe clashed with the dragon claws, forming a terrifying energy storm that spread in all directions. Break! A cold voice came from the mouth of the 9 dragons, and the blood-colored battle axe was sent flying far away. The bald man fell into a disadvantageous position after one strike. How can he be so strong? The bald man roared in disbelief. Kill! The dragon claws stepped on the air, and the 9 dragons rushed to the blood-colored battle axe like flowing light. They clawed out again, and at the same time, the 9 dragons roared, and a terrifying devouring power shrouded the blood-colored battle axe. As Lu Ming's cultivation level increased and he reached the perfected spirit embryo stage, his vital essence increased tremendously. His vital essence was strong and there was more vital essence to release. The power of the hell-suppressing heaven skill also increased tremendously. Now, Lu Ming's casual move was comparable to the full power of the hell-suppressing heaven technique when he was in the early stage of the 9th level of the spirit embryo realm. If he broke through to the spirit god realm, his vital essence would be even more abundant, and he would be able to execute the hell-suppressing heaven technique more freely. Only then would he be able to unleash the true power of a god-level martial technique, which would be even more terrifying. This is, enveloped by the devouring power of the 9 dragons, the blood-colored battle axe trembled slightly, and the bald man's terrified voice could be heard. He felt that the power of his bloodline was unstable, and his strength was affected by the devouring power's devouring power. Bam! The dragon claws clawed at the blood-colored battle axe, causing it to tremble violently. After the first claw, the second, the third claw after claw after claw after claw, Lu Ming used the mountain river diagram to defend himself. He did not have to worry about his own defense at all. Bam! 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 In the sky, there were continuous explosions, and the blood-red battle axe was constantly vibrating. The bald man was completely at a disadvantage. TB. Is this still the spirit embryo realm? The bald man's mind was shaken, and fear appeared in his heart. He was too powerful. Even though he was a dignified spiritual god, he was actually suppressed by Lu Ming throughout the entire process. Go, I'll retreat first. The bald man was scared and wanted to retreat. As if he had seen through the bald man's thoughts, he spoke in a cold voice. The 9 dragons clawed at the blood-colored battle axe once again. The might of this claw was even stronger and more shocking than the previous claw. Lu Ming had erupted with his full strength and executed the hell-suppressing heaven technique with all his strength. The vital essence within his body had been completely extracted as well, but with Lu Ming's current cultivation, the might of the hell-suppressing heaven technique at full strength was much more terrifying than before. Bang! The claw slammed into the blood-red battle axe, causing it to tremble before exploding with a bang. The bald big man's figure reappeared, and he flew towards the ground like a cannonball, wildly coughing up blood in the air. Bang! The bald man smashed heavily onto the ground, causing the ground to rumble violently. Powerful shockwaves swept out in all directions, and some mountains in an area of 50 kilometers were shattered, collapsed, and shattered. The flowers, plants, and trees were all transformed into ashes. Meanwhile, the bald man was lying on the ground, and an enormous pit that was a few dozen kilometers deep had appeared on the ground. At this moment, blood was flowing wildly from the bald man's mouth, and his aura was weak while his eyes were filled with terror. Kill! The 9 dragons stepped forward and rushed down, and the dragon claw tore towards the bald man. At this moment, a steady stream of vital essence poured into Lu Ming's body from the origin receiving stone, and Lu Ming's vital essence was replenished again. However, the vital essence stored in the origin receiving stone had been completely exhausted. After all, it was the vital essence he had stored when he was at the early stage of the 9th level of the spirit embryo realm. No, don't kill me. The bald man roared in terror and wanted to resist, but he was heavily injured, so how could he resist Lu Ming? The claw light shattered all of the bald man's defenses and tore him into pieces amidst his terrified roar. Devour! The power of devouring enveloped the bald man and devoured all of his blood essence, chi, blood, and vital essence. The chi, blood, and vital essence of a spirit god realm expert was too abundant, and it surged within the 9 dragons' bloodline. Find a place to refine. With a move of his body, Lu Ming left the place and flew into the distance. Of course, he didn't let go of the bald man's storage ring. A few tens of thousands of kilometers away, Lu Ming entered a secret place, and then he entered the mountain river diagram and started to refine it. His chi, blood, and vital essence were ceaselessly converted into vital essence, and Lu Ming's cultivation improved once more. Roar! In the end, the 9 dragons roared, and a 7th chakra floated up into appearance beneath the original 6 chakras. After he devoured and refined a spirit god realm expert, the 9 dragons' bloodline improved once more, and it advanced to the 7th grade of the god realm. Along with the improvement of the 9 dragons' bloodline, another strand of dragon energy was born from his spine. There was a total of 7 strands of dragon energy. If Lu Ming erupted with all 7 strands of dragon energy, then his combat strength would undoubtedly improve once more. Unfortunately, my current body can only erupt with 4 strands of dragon energy. If I erupt with even more, then I won't be able to control it, and scales will appear. This sort of phenomenon is rather special, and it'll probably be noticed by someone with intent, Lu Ming thought to himself. Up until now, only 2 people had seen Lu Ming erupt with his full strength and Lu Ming's hell-suppressing monument bloodline and 9 dragons bloodline. They were the bald man and the bearded man. Now that the bald man is dead, there's still the bearded man. I hope he didn't tell anyone. Lu Ming pondered. The Nine Dragons bloodline was too special, and no one had awakened it since ancient times. If news of it were to spread, it might really be discovered by the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace. Looks like I have to find an opportunity to kill that bearded man, Lu Ming pondered. In a short while, the bald man's energy was completely refined. Lu Ming took out the Origin Energy Stone again. Now that the Origin Energy Stone was empty, he planned to continue storing more vital essence. With the Origin Energy Stone, he wouldn't have to worry so much during battle, and he could even erupt with his full strength from time to time. It was all thanks to the Origin Energy Stone that he was able to kill the bald man this time. He held the Origin Energy Stone and continuously poured his vital essence into it. When his vital essence was exhausted, Lu Ming would devour Origin Energy Stones to recover. Half a day later, Lu Ming continuously stored vital essence in the Origin Energy Stone a few times. It was equivalent to a few times of Lu Ming's vital essence before he stopped. Chapter 1039. Senior Zhu Yang didn't give me many Origin Stones now, and there's only around 500,000 left. Moreover, I haven't sorted out the storage rings I obtained from the enemies I killed during this period of time. I'll sort them out when I have the time. Hopefully, I'll gain something. Lu Ming wanted to store up some Origin Stones now because he would definitely need a huge amount of them when he broke through to the domain enlightened spirit god realm. With a command in his heart, Lu Ming left the mountain river diagram and continued flying towards the depths of the herb garden. Lu Ming was much more confident now that his cultivation had improved, and he was extremely swift as he flew all along the way. It wasn't long before he'd flown an entire 50,000 kilometers and arrived at the depths of the herb garden. Because even though the area of the herb garden was extremely large, it was only a few tens of thousands of kilometers. All along the way, Dandan obtained a huge amount of spirit herbs. Lu Ming's expression suddenly changed. He did not know how far ahead there was a green glow emanating from it. Lu Ming, there's definitely a rare spirit herb there. Let's go. Let's go. Dandan's eyes glowed as he cried out excitedly. Don't be impatient. If there's really a rare spirit herb there and it emanates such a glow, then it'll definitely draw some experts over. It won't be so easy to obtain it, Lu Ming said. However, he was still curious, and he flew towards the direction the glow effused out from. After 5,000 kilometers, he saw a large mountain, and the glow vanished when he arrived here. Why isn't there anyone here? Lu Ming's gaze flashed because this was different from what he'd imagined. Since the glow is emanating and can be seen from 5,000 kilometers away, then why isn't there anyone here? Is it very strange? What a dense medicinal fragrance. Lu Ming's nose twitched as he looked towards the mountain range ahead, whereas Dandan's eyes glowed brightly. Lu Ming flew over and noticed that there was a wide valley in the middle of the mountain range, and numerous trees that were over 10 m tall grew within the valley. However, the strange thing was that these trees were completely bare. There was not a single leaf on them. Even the branches seemed to have withered. However, at the top of each tree, there was a fruit growing. A rich fragrance was emitted from the fruit. It was a rich fragrance. Each tree only had one fruit. It was as if all the energy essence of the tree had been used to nurture this fruit. This is the soul-refining fruit. Lu Ming's pupils suddenly widened, bursting with blazing flames. His heart began to burn with passion. It was actually the soul-refining fruit. Lu Ming felt his breathing become heavy. The spirit-refining fruit was a spirit fruit that was even more precious than the vermilion heaven fruit. In a sense, it was many times more precious. This was because the soul-refining fruit could condense a spirit divinity. Yes, when a domain-enlightened spirit god consumed it, it could condense the domain-enlightened spirit god and cause the domain-enlightened spirit god to become even more material. Actually, on the one hand, the domain-enlightened spirit god realm had to comprehend the concept of the heavens and the earth, and on the other hand, it was the process of condensing the domain-enlightened spirit god. The soul refinement fruit was extremely tempting to domain-enlightened spirit gods. However, to martial arts practitioners of the spirit embryo realm, the temptation was even greater. This was because when a martial arts practitioner with a perfected spirit embryo ate the spirit-refining fruit, the medicinal energy would seep into their spirit embryo. The moment they broke through to the spirit god realm, their spirit god would break out of the embryo and become even more corporeal. To break through to the spirit god realm, one had to go through the heavenly tribulation. The more corporeal the spirit god was, the higher the chances of passing the heavenly tribulation. To martial arts practitioners with a perfected spirit embryo, this was simply a supreme treasure. It was no wonder that Lu Ming was so excited when he saw it. There were over 100 soul refinement fruit trees in the valley below, which also meant that there were over 100 soul refinement fruits. If news of this spread out, all the martial arts practitioners with a perfected spirit embryo would go crazy. Haha, Lu Ming, there are so many soul refinement fruits. You've struck it rich. Dandan grinned, extremely excited. Why isn't anyone here? Lu Ming didn't completely lose his mind because of the soul refinement fruit. The light just now was so dazzling, so why wasn't there anyone here? Could it be that he was the first to arrive? I don't care. Lu Ming decided to pluck the soul refinement fruit first. Brother Lu, wait a moment. At this moment, a familiar voice sounded. Jing Kongling. Lu Ming's heart stirred as he recognized Jing Kongling's voice. On a mountain peak below, there was a sudden ripple, and two figures appeared. Two beautiful women, Sandalwood Fairy Mu Sandalwood and Jing Kongling. Just now, the ripple was clearly a formation set up by Sandalwood Fairy. Lu Ming didn't expect to meet the two of them here. Brother Lu, come down for a chat. Jing Kongling spoke, still transmitting her voice to Lu Ming, as though she was afraid that others would hear. Lu Ming flew down and entered the formation. Only then did he realize that Sandalwood Fairy had set up an illusory formation here. Fairy, Miss Kongling, what's going on? Lu Ming asked. From the looks of it, Sandalwood Fairy and Jing Kongling should have arrived long ago, but why didn't they pluck the soul refinement fruit? Instead, they hid on this mountain peak and used the formation to conceal themselves. There are a lot of blood ghost spiders on the soul refinement fruit tree. There are even blood ghost spiders of the spirit god realm. Those who entered before all died. Sandalwood Fairy explained. What? Blood ghost spiders? Lu Ming was shocked. That's right. You must have come here because you saw the light. Cold Blood Hall deliberately used spiritual herbs to lure you here. They wanted to lure others into the valley to help them deal with the blood ghost spiders. I discovered it early, so I hid here and waited for an opportunity. After Sandalwood Fairy's explanation, Lu Ming suddenly understood. Cold Blood Hall must have discovered the soul refinement fruit first, but they couldn't deal with the powerful blood ghost spiders themselves, so they wanted to lure others to help them deal with the blood ghost spiders so that they could reap the benefits. Sandalwood Fairy discovered this secret and secretly set up a formation to hide here. She was also the one who stopped Jing Kongling. Several groups of people had already died inside. Cold Blood Hall just went out to lure others. I think they'll be back in a while, Sandalwood Fairy said. As soon as Sandalwood Fairy's voice fell, the three of them looked to the north. There, 3 streaks of blood-red light flew rapidly, landed on a mountain peak, and disappeared. 3 spiritual gods. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. The 3 people from Cold Blood Hall were all spiritual gods. Lu Ming had seen 2 of them before. One was the bearded man, and the other was the injured Cold Blood Hall expert that Lu Ming, Chu Kuang, and Zhong Wenjing had met when they went to Pillar of Heaven's Mountain. The 3 Cold Blood Hall experts hid in a mountain peak and concealed their auras. Soon, another light flashed, and 6 figures flew over rapidly. Among the 6 figures, there were white-haired elders and middle-aged men, but their auras were extremely strong. The weakest was at the 9th level of the spirit embryo realm, and there were even some who had perfected their spirit embryo realm. Hey! I clearly saw a light flash in this direction. Why did it disappear? An elder whispered. That's soul refinement fruit. Suddenly, one of them exclaimed. The others also looked at the valley, their eyes burning with desire. It's soul refinement fruit, it's really soul refinement fruit. There are so many of them. Chapter 1040. The 6 of them looked at each other. Suddenly, the 6 of them moved. They attacked together and madly rushed towards the valley. "Ha ha, the soul-refining fruit is mine." A burly man laughed and grabbed at one of the soul-refining fruits. Whoosh! Suddenly, a dark red light flashed from the tree and pounced toward the burly man. "What? A blood ghost spider?" The burly man was shocked and used all his strength to slash at the blood ghost spider. Bam! The blood ghost spider was split in half. But in the next moment, dozens of blood ghost spiders pounced on the burly man as if they had poked a hornet's nest. Some of them were extremely powerful. Not only him, but the other 5 were also attacked by the blood ghost spiders. Damn it! The 6 of them roared and used all their strength to fight the blood ghost spiders. Puff! Puff! In the blink of an eye, dozens of blood ghost spiders died at their hands. However, one of the elders at the 9th level of Spirit Embryo Realm screamed as a blood ghost spider pierced his forehead. Then, countless blood ghost spiders crawled onto his body. In an instant, the elder was dead. Retreat! The others turned pale with fright and wanted to retreat. Whoosh! Suddenly, a violent sound broke the air and a dark red light flashed rapidly. Puff! 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 The 5 experts were all killed in an instant. A spirit god realm blood ghost spider. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. He clearly saw that it was a blood ghost spider that was the size of a fist and had an extremely powerful aura. The 6 experts were all killed in an instant and were devoured by the blood ghost spiders. The valley calmed down again. The blood ghost spiders climbed up the soul-refining trees again and seemed to have become one with them. From afar, it was impossible to see the blood ghost spiders. 3 experts from Cold Blood Hall appeared in the air. "What trash!" One of them shouted coldly. "This won't do. We can't exhaust much of the blood ghost spider's strength. There are 3 spirit god realm blood ghost spiders here. We need to be at the spirit god realm to exhaust their strength," the burly man with the beard said. "Then let's attract the spirit god realm martial artists here." After making up his mind, a spirit herb appeared in the big bearded man's hand. Suddenly, a green light filled the air and shot into the sky. "That's green cloudgrass, a level 9 spiritual herb." Lu Ming was shocked. The spiritual grass in the big bearded man's hand was actually a rank 9 spiritual grass. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with a fiery light. If he had this level 9 spiritual grass, perhaps his physical body could break through to level 9. The 3 men from Cold Blood Hall flew south this time, but they soon returned and hurriedly hid in the mountains. Not long after, 2 beams of light came from the south at a terrifying speed. Their terrifying auras were extremely powerful. 2 eagles. Lu Ming saw that they were clearly 2 eagle-shaped demonic beasts. "It's an expert from the Heavenly Eagle Castle," Sandalwood whispered. The 2 eagles were obviously spiritual god-level existences. Their auras were as heavy as a mountain, and their eyes were as sharp as lightning as they scanned the surroundings. When they saw the soul-refining fruit in the valley, they immediately burst out with a fiery light. "Ha ha, the soul-refining fruit, it's the soul-refining fruit. What a great opportunity." A giant purple eagle laughed loudly. "Let's share it equally." A giant blue eagle also said. "Okay." The giant purple eagle nodded. Then, the 2 eagles rushed directly into the valley. As soon as they rushed into the valley, a dense swarm of blood ghost spiders rushed toward them. "Blood ghost spiders, die." The giant blue eagle opened its mouth and spat out a blue light. Wherever the light passed, the temperature dropped sharply, and the blood ghost spiders were frozen into blocks of ice. Sizzle! The giant purple eagle flapped its wings and endless purple lightning spread out. The blood ghost spiders were swept by the lightning and instantly turned into ashes. Ordinary blood ghost spiders could not stop the 2 giant eagles at all. In an instant, thousands of them were killed. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At this time, 3 beams of light flashed and attacked the 2 giant eagles. "Oh no, it's a spiritual god-level blood ghost spider." The giant purple eagle roared and flapped its wings. The terrifying lightning turned into 3 lightning spears and stabbed at the 3 blood ghost spiders. At the same time, the giant blue eagle also launched a terrifying attack. A blue ice river wrapped around the 3 blood ghost spiders, trying to freeze them. However, The 3 blood ghost spiders were extremely powerful. They broke through the lightning and ice river and attacked the 2 giant eagles. The 2 giant eagles roared and fought with all their strength. Boom! Boom! After a series of collisions, the 2 giant eagles and the 3 blood ghost spiders charged into the sky. The battle in the sky was extremely intense. The 2 giant eagles and 3 blood ghost spiders should be at the first tier of Class 8, which was equivalent to a first-tier spiritual god. Their combat strength was almost the same, but the 2 giant eagles had fewer people and were at a disadvantage. After thousands of blood ghost spiders were killed, the 3 Class 8 blood ghost spiders seemed to be in a frenzy. They entangled the 2 giant eagles and fought fiercely. After dozens of moves, the giant purple eagle was scratched by the claws of a blood ghost spider. Immediately, blood flowed and feathers flew. Damn it! The giant purple eagle went crazy. The divine beast blood in its body was boiling. Its body seemed to have turned into lightning. It reached out with its claws and almost scratched through a blood ghost spider. Although the blood ghost spider dodged in the end, it still left a wound. Green liquid flowed out. Go first. The giant purple eagle roared and wanted to break out of the encirclement. However, the 3 blood ghost spiders entangled them tightly. They couldn't break out at all. The battle became more and more intense. In the end, a blood ghost spider seized the opportunity and attacked the giant purple eagle's abdomen. The blood ghost spider crawled into the giant purple eagle's body. Ah! The giant purple eagle screamed crazily as if it was in endless pain. It struggled madly in the air. If we die together. Finally, the purple eagle let out a loud roar. The sky was filled with lightning, and its body swelled rapidly. Then, with a loud bang, it exploded. Even the other 2 blood ghost spiders and the blue eagle were sent flying by the terrifying energy. In the sky filled with lightning, a blood ghost spider could be seen in the air. However, it was lifeless and had turned into a pile of charcoal. The blood ghost spider that had rushed into the giant purple eagle's body was also killed by the lightning when the giant purple eagle self-detonated. Mutual destruction. Squeak. The remaining 2 blood ghost spiders seemed to be extremely angry. They screamed and pounced on the giant blue eagle. The giant blue eagle roared and tried its best to escape, but it was useless. It was tightly entangled by the 2 blood ghost spiders. In the end, one of the blood ghost spiders was seriously injured by the giant blue eagle. However, the giant blue eagle was also killed by the 2 blood ghost spiders. 2 LV8 giant eagles died just like that. Of course, the blood ghost spiders also paid a heavy price. Haha, good. With a loud laugh, 3 Cold Blood Hall experts appeared and pounced on the 2 blood ghost spiders. They weren't confident when there were only 3 blood ghost spiders. Now, they could finally attack. Chapter 1041. It was much easier for the 3 of them to fight the 2 injured blood ghost spiders. The 2 blood ghost spiders were completely suppressed and in imminent danger. This is a good chance. We can take the spirit-refining fruit. Sandalwood Fairy's eyes lit up. There shouldn't be any other blood ghost spiders in the spiritual god realm, right? Looming asked. No, I'm very sensitive to the aura of living creatures. I'm not wrong. Sandalwood Fairy nodded. Okay, let's take the spirit-refining fruits and break out of the encirclement. Looming said. The 3 of them had to work together to have a chance. Otherwise, the 3 experts from Cold Blood Hall would definitely attack them. If they did not work together, they would not be able to escape. Their figures moved, and the 3 of them rushed down the valley at the same time. Their figures were as fast as lightning. Complete spirit embryo. Looming found that Jing Kongling's aura was much stronger than before. It was clear that he had reached the complete spirit embryo. Obviously, Jing Kongling had refined the vermilion fruit and made a breakthrough in his cultivation. The 3 experts from Cold Blood Hall noticed them as soon as they took action. Sandalwood Fairy, Jing Kongling, and Lu Shaoqing. Damn you, Junior, don't even think about it. The bearded man roared. The 3 experts from Cold Blood Hall were shocked by the 3's actions. They had never thought that there would be 3 top experts of the younger generation lying in ambush here, waiting for an opportunity to attack. Quick, quick. Lu Ming's vital essence burst forth. His vital essence was like a ribbon, rolling forward. A few mind-refining fruits landed in his hands and he put them away. Sandalwood Fairy and Jing Kongling were also very fast. Their vital essence swept out and the fruits fell into their hands. Take them. Without Lu Ming's command, Dandan had already rushed forward and grabbed the spirit-refining fruits, stuffing them into his mouth. Stop. The bearded man's eyes turned red. He roared and rushed toward Lu Ming. There was also a blood-robed elder who rushed toward Jing Kongling and Sandalwood Fairy. As for the injured middle-aged man that Lu Ming, Chu Kuang, and Zhong Wenjing had met on the way, he was the strongest among the three of them. He was fighting two blood ghost spiders alone. At that moment, one of the blood ghost spiders was already severely injured and on the verge of death. Only the other blood ghost spider was still fighting the middle-aged man. Bang! The heavily injured blood ghost spider suddenly exploded, filling the sky with blood-red light. When the middle-aged man was hit by the blood-red light, his face paled, and in the next moment, a trace of green gas appeared. He had been poisoned. The remaining blood-wraith spider screeched as it absorbed the bloody light in the sky. Its injuries quickly healed, and its combat strength increased greatly. For a moment, it was locked in a fierce battle with the middle-aged man. In the valley, Lu Ming immediately unleashed 4 streams of dragon force and punched with all his might. Boom! He exchanged a blow with the big bearded man. Both of them trembled and retreated. The bearded man's battle prowess was about the same as the bald man's, but Lu Ming did not use his full strength, so they were evenly matched. Your cultivation? Even so, the bearded man was still shocked. He did not expect Lu Ming's battle prowess to be so terrifying that he could actually fight with him. Roar! He transformed into a blood-red lion and pounced towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming circulated prison-suppressing heavenly technique, and 5 colored concepts surrounded him as he fought with the blood-red lion. After exchanging a few blows, it was still a draw. On the other side, Sandalwood Fairy and Jing Kongling were fighting the blood-robed elder. The blood-robed elder's battle prowess was slightly higher than the bearded man's, but Sandalwood Fairy and Jing Kongling were also incomparably powerful. Jing Kongling's battle prowess had increased greatly after breaking through to the perfected spirit embryo realm. Even if he was alone, he could fight against weaker martial artists at the first level of spirit god realm. As for Sandalwood Fairy, although she mainly refined pills, her battle prowess was also not to be underestimated. Sandalwood Fairy's body glowed, emitting rays of colorful light that were very powerful. She was using her body to carve a formation. It was obvious that there was an extremely powerful formation in her body. Inscribers were biased towards one another. For example, some were biased towards refining pills, some were biased towards refining weapons, and some were biased towards refining talismans. But no matter which side they were biased towards, inscription formations were something that had to be studied and cultivated, because it was the foundation of an inscriber and also where one's battle prowess lay. Sandalwood Fairy's inscription formation was naturally extremely terrifying. The spiritual fire between her eyebrows jumped, forming a powerful spiritual storm. What a strong spiritual power! Sandalwood Fairy is absolutely perfect at every level, Lu Ming exclaimed in his heart. Sandalwood Fairy and Jing Kongling teamed up to fight the blood-robed elder and had a slight upper hand. For a moment, the 3 sides were in a stalemate, but no one stopped Dandan. He excitedly plucked the soul-refining fruits. There were also some remaining blood ghost spiders, but they were not strong and were instantly killed by the formation carved by Dandan. The eyes of the 3 from Cold Blood Hall turned red when they saw the situation. They had put in so much effort and had yet to obtain a single soul-refining fruit, but Lu Ming and the rest were about to pluck all of them. They were furious. I don't care what kind of prodigies you are, you're all going to die today. The bearded burly man roared and launched a frenzied attack on Lu Ming. Killing intent flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. He wondered if he should use all his strength to kill the bearded man. In the end, he decided to give up. The bearded man alone might not spread the news, but if he used all his strength and revealed his 9 dragons bloodline, it might be seen by others. Lu Ming bombarded the bearded burly man with punches one after another. Kill. The middle-aged man who was fighting with the blood ghost spider roared as a pagoda appeared above his head. This pagoda was blood-red in color, and blood chi filled the sky. There were 5 golden chakras on the pagoda. The middle-aged man's bloodline was at divine level 5, which was higher than the bearded man and the blood-robed elder. His battle prowess was also higher. He transformed into a blood-red pagoda, emitting a terrifying aura that suppressed the blood ghost spiders. Boom! The pagoda shook and successfully suppressed the blood ghost spiders under it. The blood-red light flashed as if it was bombarding and refining the blood ghost spiders. At this time, Dandan was still crazily plucking the soul-refining fruits. Soon, more than 100 soul-refining fruits had been plucked by Dandan. "Let's go!" Dandan shouted. Now that he had finished plucking the soul-refining fruits, he was about to run out. "Go to hell!" The space shook and blood-red light flashed. The blood-red pagoda pressed down on Dandan. The blood ghost spiders had been severely injured by the pagoda. Oh no! Dandan was shocked. With a swoosh, she ran toward Lu Ming. "Fairy, Miss Kongling, let's rush out together." Lu Ming threw a few punches and then rushed toward Fairy Sandalwood and Jing Kongling. He planned to join them and rush out together. "Don't even think about it." The bearded man roared and chased after them. The blood-robed elder also chased after Fairy Sandalwood and Jing Kongling. The blood-red pagoda shook and pressed down on Lu Ming. "Go!" Lu Ming rushed to Fairy Sandalwood and Jing Kongling and threw a few punches. The blood-robed elder trembled and retreated slightly. Chapter 1042. His glabella glowed, and the mountain and river diagram flew out. It rapidly enlarged and lengthened, surrounding Lu Ming, Sandalwood Fairy, and Jing Kongling. At the same time, Lu Ming threw a dozen punches at the blood-colored pagoda. Jing Kongling shouted and waved his hands. 2 water dragons also rushed toward the blood-colored pagoda. Sandalwood Fairy waved her hand, and 9 elixirs flew toward the blood-colored pagoda. When they were halfway there, the 9 elixirs glowed, and inscriptions appeared on them. Then, they exploded and turned into 9 battle swords, slashing toward the blood-colored pagoda. Refining elixirs into weapons. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with amazement. Sandalwood Fairy's alchemy skills had really reached an unfathomable level. She could actually refine elixirs into weapons. A single elixir was a divine weapon, a great weapon with infinite power. Boom! 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 The 3 people's attacks collided with the blood-colored pagoda. They successfully blocked the blood-colored pagoda, but their attacks also collapsed. They only felt a powerful force surging toward them, and their bodies trembled slightly. The blood-colored pagoda's strength was much stronger than the bearded man's. Go! After blocking the blood-colored pagoda, the 3 people rushed out. But at this time, the bearded man and the blood-robed elder also attacked. Together with the blood-colored pagoda, they surrounded Lu Ming and the other 2 people. Lu Ming and the other 2 people couldn't rush out at all. They could only try their best to defend. Fortunately, with the protection of the mountain and river diagram, the 3 of them could reduce their defense and use more power to attack. Lu Ming and Jing Kongling fought against the blood-colored pagoda and the blood-robed elder. Sandalwood Fairy's body glowed, and colorful light constantly flew out. It looked beautiful, but it was full of killing intent. At the same time, Sandalwood Fairy waved her hand, and elixirs flew out one after another, forming a wonderful array in the air. They burst out a terrifying attack toward the bearded man, showing Sandalwood Fairy's terrifying combat strength. But even so, the 3 of them were still at a disadvantage. The main reason was that the blood-colored pagoda was too powerful. Lu Ming's mind raced. He had no choice but to use his full strength. He was confident that if he used his full strength, he wouldn't be weaker than the blood-colored pagoda. Rumble. However, right at this moment, an earth-shattering rumble suddenly resounded between heaven and earth. The earth trembled and the sky exploded. Everyone saw dazzling lights suddenly explode in the sky like countless resplendent fireworks exploding together. The array exploded. What's going on? Sandalwood Fairy whispered. Lu Ming was also taken aback. He remembered that this herb garden was enveloped by a large formation. Previously, The Cold Blood Hall people had only broken a corner of it. But now, it seemed that the entire formation had collapsed, and the entire herb garden was about to reappear. Oh no, it's been taken by someone else. At this moment, a cry of surprise came from the blood-colored pagoda. What? Someone else took it, damn it. The bearded man and the blood-robed old man cried out in alarm. The two of them actually stopped attacking Lu Ming's group and flew backwards. Then, they each took out a sound transmission jade talisman and looked at it. Their faces fell. Wang. The blood-red pagoda shuddered and transformed back into the middle-aged man's appearance. That thing is more important. Let's go and capture the suspicious person with all our might. The middle-aged man shouted. Boy, you're lucky today. The bearded man glanced at Lu Ming's group unwillingly, and then the three Cold Blood Hall experts left without looking back. Lu Ming, Sandalwood Fairy, and Jing Kongling looked at each other in dismay. Cold Blood Hall opened this ancient herb garden. It seems that there's something more important here, but it's been taken away by someone else. Lu Ming guessed. Obviously, the value of that treasure was far above the spirit-refining fruits. Therefore, the bearded man and the others had to leave Lu Ming's group behind and chase after that treasure. Because they were not confident that they could take down Lu Ming's group in a short time. Let's go, let's leave this herb garden first. Lu Ming said. Sandalwood Fairy and Jing Kongling nodded, and the three of them flew towards the west. After such a big commotion, there would definitely be more and more experts. This herb garden was not a place to stay for long, so it was better to leave first. There were no accidents along the way. The three of them flew hundreds of thousands of miles away from the herb garden before stopping. Dandan, take out all the spirit-refining fruit. The three of them stopped on a mountain peak, and Lu Ming looked at Dandan. What? I got them. Dandan turned his head away and did not look at Lu Ming. The spirit-refining fruits are very useful for perfected spiritual embryos or spiritual gods, but they're not as useful to you as other spiritual herbs. Isn't it a waste to give them to you? Take them out quickly, they're for Sandalwood Fairy and Miss Kongling, Lu Ming said, staring at Dandan unkindly. This guy wanted to take them for himself again. In the end, under Lu Ming's threatening gaze, Dandan had no choice but to spit out more than 100 spirit-refining fruits. This was also because the spirit-refining fruits were not very useful to Dandan. Otherwise, he might not have been willing to hand them over. Sandalwood Fairy, Miss Kongling, a total of 102 spirit-refining fruits. 34 for each of you. What do you think? Lu Ming divided the spirit-refining fruits into 3 portions and gave one each to Sandalwood Fairy and Jing Kongling. This time, it was all thanks to Sandalwood Fairy and Jing Kongling. Otherwise, Lu Ming would have rushed into the valley rashly and fallen into Cold Blood Hall's trap. He would have been doomed, not to mention getting the spirit-refining fruits in the end. Sandalwood Fairy and Jing Kongling did not stand on ceremony and took them one by one. The spirit-refining fruits were very useful to them. Although Sandalwood Fairy was not a martial artist, she could use the spirit-refining fruits to refine a kind of elixir, which would be very useful for her to break through to level 8. Brat, you're a guy who values women over friends. You only know how to use the spirit herbs I plucked to win the hearts of the beauties. I'm not convinced. Beauties, you must remember that I risked my life to pluck these soul-refining fruits, not this brat. Dandan began to shout unhappily. Then, he looked at Sandalwood Fairy and Jing Kongling with a pair of shifty eyes. Ha ha ha, Master Lu, your spiritual pet is really strange. Sandalwood Fairy giggled and looked at Dandan curiously. Jing Kongling was the same. A spiritual pet, a little turtle, could inscribe inscriptions. It was really amazing. They had never seen any demonic beast that could inscribe inscription formations. Haha, beauties, I might as well tell you that I'm the head of the top 10 battle beasts. I'm unparalleled and invincible in the world. Wherever I go, the world is convinced. I think you two are not bad. How about this? I'll reluctantly accept you as my maids. What do you think? Dandan stood on Lu Ming's shoulder with 2 claws on his waist, looking invincible. Lu Ming wished he could slap this guy to death. Dandan's appearance made Sandalwood Fairy laugh. Even Jing Kongling, who had always been ethereal, showed a smile on his face. "Master Lu, why don't you lend me your spiritual pet for a few days?" Sandalwood Fairy smiled. Okay. Before Lu Ming could say anything, Dandan immediately nodded. She leaped into Sandalwood Fairy's arms, her claws grabbing Sandalwood Fairy's skirt. "Beauty, how are you going to play with me?" Chapter 1043. Lecherous Tortoise. Sandalwood Fairy's face flushed red, and she slapped Dandan away. By the side, a holy and ethereal woman like Jing Kongling blushed slightly. She and Sandalwood Fairy looked at Lu Ming with a strange expression. "Lu Shaoqing, I didn't expect you to be such a person. You taught your spiritual pet to be like this." Sandalwood Fairy glared at Lu Ming fiercely. The veins on Lu Ming's face were throbbing, and he felt wronged. Dandan was not taught by him. She was a wily old fox to begin with. But Sandalwood Fairy and Jing Kongling obviously thought that Dandan was Lu Ming's spiritual pet, and it looked young, so it must have been taught by Lu Ming. The spiritual pet was so wretched and lecherous, the master was probably the same. Lu Ming cursed Dandan hundreds of times in his heart. He was really speechless. His reputation was going to be ruined by this guy. "Beauty, why did you hit me? You haven't told me how to play with me." Dandan ran over and shouted again. "Get in." Lu Ming grabbed Dandan and threw it directly into the mountain and river diagram. "Ahem, ladies, I'll take my leave now. See you again." Lu Ming was a little embarrassed. He coughed twice and cupped his fists. "Where are you going, young Master Lu?" Lu Ming looked really different from the tortoise, so Sandalwood Fairy asked in a low voice. "I'm going to cultivate while going to the sacred city. Goodbye." After that, Lu Ming did not stay any longer. He turned into a rainbow light and soared into the sky. "This Lu Shaoqing is more mysterious than I thought." Sandalwood Fairy's beautiful eyes flashed, and then she left with Jing Kongling. Following that, Lu Ming cultivated as he hurried on his way. His speed was not fast, and he would stop every now and then. Sometimes, when he gained something, he would stop and comprehend it. Right now, he was focusing on comprehending the will of heaven and earth. On the other hand, he'd found a place to refine the 30+ soul refinement fruits as well. The energy of the soul refinement fruits had completely seeped into his spirit embryo. At that time, if he broke through to the domain enlightened spirit god realm and his spirit embryo broke through to the domain enlightened spirit god realm, then his domain enlightened spirit god would definitely be more material than an ordinary person, and his chances of overcoming the heavenly tribulation would be even greater. After 7 days of walking and stopping, Lu Ming had only traveled a few million miles. On this day, Lu Ming arrived at the territory of a sect called the Mystic Mist Sect. Compared to the entire central continent, this was a small sect. There were only a few spiritual gods in the sect, but it also had a teleportation formation. Lu Ming planned to take the teleportation formation of the Mystic Mist Sect, cross the void, and head west. After all, the central continent was simply too vast. There were hundreds of regions in the Eastern Barren Territory, but the central continent was 7 or 8 times larger than the Eastern Barren Territory. He did not know how long it would take to fly to the sacred city. What happened? The teleportation formation of the Mystic Mist Sect is controlled by a powerful force. No one is allowed to leave by it. What? Is that true? What kind of force is so overbearing? I heard that it's the Coldblood Hall. They seem to be looking for someone, and have sent out a large number of experts. I have something urgent to do. I have to go out. I can only go to other forces and have a look. Lu Ming walked into a big city near the Mystic Mist Sect and heard the news. The Coldblood Hall has blocked the teleportation formation of the Mystic Mist Sect. Lu Ming frowned. He remembered that the bearded man and the others had said that something had been taken away in the ancient herb garden. Was the Coldblood Hall still hunting for the robber? What on earth could make the Coldblood Hall send out so many people? Lu Ming observed the vicinity of the Mystic Mist Sect and saw many experts of the Coldblood Hall. The next day, Lu Ming left the territory of the Mystic Mist Sect and went to another force. The Divine Wind Ancient Country was an ancient country with several spiritual gods. There was also a teleportation formation in the capital of the Divine Wind ancient country. A few days later, Lu Ming arrived at the capital of the Divine Wind ancient country. He appeared in a restaurant. Damn it, the teleportation formation of the Divine Wind ancient country is also controlled by the Coldblood Hall. We can't get out at all. It's said that the teleportation formations of more than a dozen forces in the surrounding area are all controlled by the Coldblood Hall. No one can leave by teleportation formation. The Coldblood Hall is so overbearing. Who asked them to be an overlord force? That's a force with an emperor overseeing it. There was a burst of discussion in the restaurant. Lu Ming frowned slightly. The teleportation formations of more than a dozen forces in the surrounding area were all controlled. There was no need to go to other forces. After eating and drinking, Lu Ming found an inn in the capital of the Divine Wind Imperial City to stay for the time being and observe the situation. In the following days, Lu Ming cultivated in the inn every day. Occasionally, he would go out to check the situation. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. However, the Coldblood Hall still controlled the various teleportation formations. No one could leave by teleportation formation. Some people were anxious and had urgent matters to attend to. Therefore, many people had gathered together and decided not to use the teleportation formation but to fly away. However, they had to cross a huge mountain range to the west. The mountain range spanned from north to south and was tens of millions of miles long. There were countless powerful fierce beasts on the mountain range. Ordinary people would only be courting death if they flew over the mountain range. However, towards the west of the Divine Wind ancient country, there was a huge plain. It was as if the middle of the mountain range had been struck by a palm, and the mountain range had been pierced through, forming a plain. This plain was much safer than the mountain range, and had become a passage for many people to go west. However, there were many fierce beasts on the plain. Occasionally, powerful fierce beasts would sneak out from the mountain range on both sides. Therefore, for safety reasons, if they did not use the teleportation formation, they would gather a large group of people and travel together. There was already a group of people in the capital of the Divine Wind Imperial City. They planned to fly over the mountain range together. On this day, tens of thousands of people flew to the west of the Divine Wind Imperial City. Lu Ming was among them. He also planned to fly over the mountain range with the crowd. The group of people flew in a mighty manner. Soon, a vast mountain range appeared in front of them. The mountain range was extremely huge. It towered into the clouds and spanned from north to south. There were countless fierce beasts on it. However, there was a huge gap in the middle of the mountain range. It formed a plain that was tens of thousands of miles wide. It broke through the mountain range and led to the opposite side. According to legend, there was no such gap a long time ago. Later on, there was a battle between two emperors. The mountain range was broken by a palm strike from one of the emperors. That was how the plain was formed. Lu Ming had seen the emperors fight. They were so terrifying that they could definitely break through such a vast mountain range with a single palm strike. The group of people gathered together and flew toward the plain. The roars of various fierce beasts could be heard from time to time. Some of the roars tore through the clouds. It was extremely terrifying. Those were the roars of spiritual god fierce beasts. Let's get through this mountain range as soon as possible. If we attract spiritual god fierce beasts, we'll be in trouble, someone shouted. The group sped up and flew forward. Boom! Boom! Suddenly, there was a bloody light in front of them. Blood chi filled the sky and blocked their way. What's going on? Someone shouted. Oh no, it's the experts from Coldblood Hall. They're blocking our way. What? Did Coldblood Hall also send experts here to block us? Damn it. Chapter 1044. Whoosh. Whoosh. Blood-red light constantly flew out and floated in the air. In a few breaths, experts in blood-red robes appeared in all directions, staring coldly at Lu Ming and the others. They were all experts from Coldblood Hall, some of whom had extremely terrifying auras. Experts. So many spiritual god experts. Just the number of spiritual god experts alone exceeds 20. Someone exclaimed. Coldblood Hall had so many experts here. Several experts from Coldblood Hall stood in the air. They were the leaders of the Coldblood Hall experts. We have taken control of all the teleportation formations of the surrounding forces. The person who stole the treasure must be in a hurry to leave. This is his chance. He must be mixed in with this group of people. A white-haired elder said. That's right. It's dangerous to stay in the territory of Coldblood Hall. He must be in a hurry to leave. We can't use the transmission formation, so we can only fly. There must be someone we're looking for among this group of people. Check every single one of them, a burly man said coldly. With that, he took a step forward and a terrifying aura was released from his body, shrouding Lu Ming and nearly 10,000 people under his aura. Seniors from Coldblood Hall, why are you stopping us? Someone asked loudly. That's right. We didn't offend anyone from Coldblood Hall. Another person said. Coldblood Hall is looking for someone among you, so we can only stop all of you. The burly man said. Is there someone you're looking for? What are their characteristics? Can we help? Someone asked. We don't know. We don't know what characteristics they have. We don't even know if they're a man or a woman. That's why we're stopping all of you. The burly man said. Everyone looked at each other. How were they going to find them if they didn't even know if they were a man or a woman? The burly man sneered and said, this man has taken a precious treasure from Coldblood Hall. So, it's simple. All you need to do is to hand over all your storage rings. What? You want us to hand over our storage rings? No way. Someone refused flatly. How could they get their storage rings back after handing them over? Moreover, which martial artist didn't have secrets? Many of them were in storage rings. Who would want to hand them over? You have to hand them over today. The burly man's eyes turned cold. Coldblood Hall is too arrogant. You're not the only overlord in the central continent. Don't go too far. Someone said coldly. Really? The burly man's eyes suddenly turned cold, and a blood spear appeared in his hand. In the next moment, the blood spear tore through the void like a blood-colored lightning bolt, stabbing towards an old European. That old European turned pale with fright, and his aura surged as he frantically retreated. However, it was useless. The blood-colored spear pierced through and nailed old Ou to death on the plains. Hiss! Many people sucked in a breath of cold air. The aura that erupted from old Ou was incomparably terrifying. He was an existence at the first layer of spirit god, but he was still killed by the burly man's blood spear. It was truly terrifying. How dare you question Coldblood Hall? You're courting death. The burly man said coldly. Many people kept quiet out of fear and broke out in cold sweat. The Coldblood Hall was too overbearing. They could even kill a spiritual god on a whim. It was truly overbearing. This was an overlord power. The spiritual gods of some small forces were like ants in their eyes. They could kill them as they wished. If you don't hand over your storage ring, die. The burly man said coldly as he swept his gaze over the people closest to him. Yes, I'll hand it over. The faces of the people who were swept by the burly man changed drastically. They could only take off their storage rings and hand them over. In the crowd, Lu Ming frowned. The burly man was too strong. He was definitely not at the first layer of Spirit God. He was probably at the third or fourth layer of Spirit God. In the spiritual God realm, the gap between each layer was huge. It was not too difficult for someone one layer higher to kill someone one layer lower, let alone someone a few layers higher. Charge, let's charge out. Coldblood Hall only has a few hundred people. We have tens of thousands. Let's charge out together. That's right. Storage rings are all that we martial artists have. How can we cultivate in the future if we hand them over? At worst, we'll just fight it out. Charge. Roars suddenly came from the crowd. Some people began to charge out in all directions. With someone leading the charge, the crowd was instantly thrown into chaos. No one wanted to hand over their storage rings. Many people followed suit when they saw others breaking out of the encirclement. Tens of thousands of people broke out of the encirclement in all directions. The plains were in chaos. You're courting death. Kill, Kill without mercy, the burly man roared, his killing intent raging. Boom, boom, boom. The experts of Coldblood Hall burst out with powerful auras. Rays of bloody light bloomed. There were more than 20 spiritual god experts. The rest were at the high level of the spiritual embryo realm. There were even some old monsters among them. Kill. Whoosh, whoosh. Rays of bloody light formed sword rays, saber rays, fist forces, etc., and blasted toward Lu Ming and the others. Hundreds of people were killed in an instant. Their bodies scattered on the ground. A spear ray pierced toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming punched out and shattered the spear ray. His figure flashed as he rushed toward the mountain range on the left. Only by rushing into the mountain range and making use of the complex terrain and the fierce beasts in the mountain range could he avoid the experts of Coldblood Hall. If he ran to either end of the plains, he would definitely be caught and killed. An expert fixed his eyes on Lu Ming. Rays of bloody light flashed in his hand, forming rays of spear light that pierced toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming unleashed his movement technique and flashed continuously, avoiding the spear gleams as he ran at high speed. The plains were completely drowned in screams. Large numbers of corpses fell, and the smell of blood filled the air. Swallow. Some experts of Coldblood Hall used the bloodthirst technique to swallow the thick smell of blood into their mouths. Boom, boom. There were a few extremely terrifying experts from Coldblood Hall, such as the burly man and the two elders. Their auras were violent. With a wave of their hands, the sky and earth shook. Large numbers of experts were killed by their palm prints. There were also a few spiritual god experts in Lu Ming's group, but they were no match for the experts and died one after another. I'll give you my storage ring. Some people were scared and shouted that they wanted to give up their storage rings. However, some people continued to charge forward, unwilling to give up their storage rings. Master Lu, save me. Lu Ming was charging forward when he suddenly heard a cry. He turned his gaze and was slightly stunned. Ju Xin. He saw Ju Xin. At this moment, Ju Xin was running with all her might, trying to get out. Let's go. Lu Ming pulled Ju Xin and moved forward quickly. Stay. An elder fixed his eyes on the two of them. His terrifying aura erupted as he charged toward them. This elder's aura was stronger than that of an ordinary LV1 spiritual god. He should be a LV2 spiritual god expert. Lu Ming pulled Ju Xin and used the 9 dragons' heaven stomping steps. His body was like a stream of light, but his speed was affected as he was carrying someone. Soon, the elder caught up with them. The old man threw a punch and a blood-red fist force blasted toward Lu Ming. Chapter 1045. Lu Ming let go of Ju Xin and unleashed his dragon force. He circulated the strangle hell skill to the maximum and punched. Boom. As the two forces collided, Lu Ming's body shook violently. He retreated a few steps and spat out a mouthful of blood. The elder was too strong. A second-level spirit god was several times stronger than a first-level spirit god. Lu Ming used the strangle hell skill to the maximum to barely block the punch, but he was still injured. The elder was shocked to see that Lu Ming, an ant with a perfected spirit embryo, could survive his punch. He was stunned and did not continue to attack. At the same time, the vital vitality in the vitality receiving stone poured into Lu Ming's body. He pulled Ju Xin and used the 9 dragons' heaven trampling steps to run forward. Ju Xin had given him the purple jade that contained the vitality receiving stone. Now that she was in danger, how could Lu Ming leave her in the lurch? The two of them left in a flash. Only then did the elder react. His killing intent exploded as he shouted angrily, "Where do you think you're going?" He quickly chased after Lu Ming. Swoosh, swoosh. In front of them, there were also experts from Coldblood Hall attacking Lu Ming. Attacks enveloped the two of them. These were attacks from experts with a perfected spirit embryo. Lu Ming was not afraid of them alone, but with Ju Xin, Lu Ming had to attack to help her block the attacks. As a result, their speed was slowed down again. Behind them, the elder chased after them. "Hand over your storage rings and I'll let you go," the elder roared. Ju Xin gritted her teeth and did not say a word. She looked anxious and worried, but she had no intention of handing over her storage rings. Forget it, let's fight. Lu Ming's gaze moved and a voice entered Ju Xin's ears. Don't resist. Lu Ming's voice rang out. Ju Xin nodded. Then, a light flashed between Lu Ming's brows and the mountain river diagram appeared. He swept Ju Xin into the mountain river diagram. Swoosh. Lu Ming was the only one left. His speed increased explosively, and the Cold Blood Hall expert in front of him with a perfect spirit embryo was blown apart by Lu Ming. Lu Ming used the 9 dragons' heaven stomping steps and was like a stream of light. For a moment, the old man couldn't catch up. How can he be so strong? Who is this young man? The old man was shocked and chased after him with all his might, but he found that Lu Ming was getting further and further away. In less than 2 minutes, Lu Ming rushed into the mountain range. Within the mountain range, terrifying ferocious beasts were entrenched. Not long after Lu Ming rushed in, he met quite a few ferocious beasts of Spirit Embryo realm, but he rushed past them all. Lu Ming could only run as fast as he could since the Cold Blood Hall Elder was still hot on his heels. Roar! A huge black tiger appeared. It was more than 10 meters tall and looked like a small mountain. A terrifying aura emanated from it. With a loud roar, the clouds in the sky exploded. This was an extremely powerful ferocious beast. It had the bloodline of a divine beast, but it didn't want to take human form and hid deep in the forest. When it saw Lu Ming and the Cold Blood Hall Elder, its eyes flashed fiercely. With a loud roar, it slapped at Lu Ming with its claws. Lu Ming blocked it with the mountain river painting and punched out, but he was still sent flying by the black tiger's slap and broke dozens of huge rocks. However, the black tiger's target was obviously not Lu Ming, but the old man. Because the old man posed a great threat to the black tiger, and Lu Ming's aura was weak, the black tiger ignored him and pounced on the old man. Immediately, the black tiger and the old man fought fiercely, and the old man was at a disadvantage. Not far away, the rocks exploded and Lu Ming dashed out from the rocks. His figure flashed and he left the place at lightning speed. Damn it! The Cold Blood Hall Elder roared, but there was nothing he could do. He was suppressed by the black tiger and could only barely protect himself as he watched Lu Ming leave. This black tiger is really powerful. Lu Ming wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, feeling a splitting pain all over his body. Just now, being slapped by the black tiger, he suffered considerable injuries. But it was worth it to shake off the Cold Blood Hall Elder. Next, Lu Ming slowed down a little, restrained his aura, and focused his mind. If he sensed a strong aura, Lu Ming would go around it. It took Lu Ming a whole day to cross the mountain range. After crossing the mountain range, Lu Ming did not stop. He rose into the air and flew into the distance. After flying for millions of miles, Lu Ming stopped by a small river. He took a bath in the river and changed into a new set of clothes. He then sat cross-legged and began to recuperate. Although he was injured, they were all external injuries. Now that his body was strong, these injuries were healed in less than half a day. Phew! Lu Ming exhaled. With a wave of his hand, Ju Xin appeared. Ju Xin looked around vigilantly as soon as she appeared. When she saw that Lu Ming was alone, she heaved a long sigh of relief. Don't worry, Miss Ju. We're already far away from that mountain range. Lu Ming said. Thank you for saving me again, Master Lu. I'm very grateful. Ju Xin bowed to Lu Ming and said gratefully. You're welcome, Miss Ju. You gave me the purple jade that you wanted. Since I saw you in danger, I should help you. Lu Ming smiled faintly and asked, where are your servants? Ju Xin used to have servants by her side, including maids and guards. But now, they were all gone. Ju Xin's eyes reddened. They're all dead. Oh. Lu Ming did not say much. He thought for a while and said, Miss Ju, where do you live? Do you need me to send you back? I'm from the Ju family of Drum Mountain. I was just about to invite you to my house as a guest. Ju Xin said. Drum Mountain? Lu Ming thought for a while. He had bought a map of Central Continent and roughly knew the direction of Drum Mountain. It was also west, which was the same direction as Lu Ming wanted to go. All right, I'll go with you. Lu Ming nodded. Zhu Xin was overjoyed. The two of them rose into the air and left. After a few million miles, they arrived at a small power with a transmission formation. Coldblood Hall did not have the power to control the transmission formation on this side of the mountain range because it was already part of Sky Eagle Fort's territory. The two of them took the transmission formation and traveled hundreds of millions of miles, which was equivalent to the distance of dozens of large domains in eastern wilderness. They then flew for another 2 days before arriving at Drum Mountain. Drum Mountain was surrounded by tall peaks and cranes. There was not much vegetation on the mountain because it was filled with spiritual chi of the fire attribute. Hence, the vegetation here was sparse. Drum Mountain was the territory of the Zhu family. On the way, Lu Ming learned that the Zhu family was a small force. There were not many spiritual god experts in the Zhu family. One could count them with one hand. Miss Zhu is back. Someone cheered as soon as they arrived near Drum Mountain. So you're the eldest daughter of the Zhu family, Lu Ming said with a smile. My father is the head of the Zhu family. It's just a small power. Please don't laugh at me. Zhu Xin pursed her lips and smiled. Xin. Chapter 1046. Father. Zhu Xin was overjoyed and flew up. Father, come, let me introduce you. This is young Master Lu Shaoqing. It's all thanks to young Master Lu that I could come back alive to see you. Zhu Xin pulled the middle-aged man and introduced him to Lu Ming. Junior Lu Shaoqing greets Patriarch Lu. Lu Ming went up and cupped his fist. Haha, young Master Lu is too polite. You saved my daughter and are the benefactor of my Zhu family. Come, let's go in first. You must have had a tough journey. Take a rest first. I'll prepare a banquet tomorrow to thank young Master Lu, Family Head Zhu said politely. Family Head Zhu, you're too polite. Lu Ming cupped his fist. The group walked into the Zhu family. The Zhu family was huge. Among the peaks, there were palaces, pavilions, cultivation rooms, etc. The air was filled with dense fire attribute spiritual energy. Obviously, the Zhu family cultivated fire attribute cultivation techniques. After entering the Zhu family, they quickly arranged an elegant courtyard for Lu Ming to stay in. In the room, Lu Ming sat cross-legged. This is a good place to comprehend the fire attribute. Immediately after, he closed his eyes and began to comprehend the attribute. After this period of cultivation, his attributes had improved. However, other than the water attribute, the other attributes still did not break through to the 4th level. Although the wind, fire, and thunder attributes were close to the 4th level, they were still a little short and did not break through. In the family head Zhu's room, Zhu Xin stood in front of him. At this moment, the family head Zhu's eyes were filled with excitement. He looked at Zhu Xin and said, Xin, that treasure, did you really get it? Father, I got it. Zhu Xin was also excited. Her palm glowed and a jade box appeared. She passed it to the family head Zhu. The family head Zhu took the jade box. His hands were trembling. He took a deep breath and opened the jade box. There was a jade token inside. The family head Zhu took out the jade token and scanned the contents of the jade token. Slowly, his body began to tremble and he was overjoyed. It's true, a supreme treasure, a supreme treasure. It's just like the ancient records. With it, my Zhu family has hope of rising, haha. The head of the Zhu family couldn't help but laugh. Father, but the materials on it are not easy to find, Zhu Xin said. Patriarch Zhu took a deep breath to calm himself down and said, yes, it's not easy to find the materials, but there's always hope. By the way, Xin, how did you escape? I heard that Coldblood Hall had mobilized a large force this time. Did you really rely on that Lu brat to save you? Zhu Xin nodded and said, indeed, it was Lu Shaoqing who saved me that allowed me to escape. Lu Shaoqing is a peerless genius. I heard that even the Sanguinarum was defeated by him. What? Even Sanguinarum lost to him? The patriarch of the Zhu clan was shocked. He found it hard to believe because he had never heard of Lu Shaoqing's name before. Following that, the Zhu clan's patriarch asked, what's the background of this Lu Shaoqing? Which power is he from? Even if he's a peerless genius, I'm afraid it'll be difficult for him to save you from the experts of Coldblood Hall. Father, it's like this. Immediately, Jushin told her father all the news she had heard about Lu Ming and how Lu Ming had saved her. What? Grotto Heaven treasure? You said Lu Shaoqing has a Grotto Heaven treasure? After hearing Jushin's story, the Zhu clan's patriarch widened his eyes in shock. An incomparably hot flame flashed in his eyes. Yes, it must be a Grotto Heaven treasure without a doubt. It's a universe of its own and living creatures can live in it. It's 100,000 miles wide and is exactly the same as the legendary Grotto Heaven treasure, Jushin said with certainty. She was also shocked when Lu Ming first took her into the mountain river diagram. Grotto Heaven treasure, it's a Grotto Heaven treasure. The flame in the Zhu clan's patriarch's eyes grew hotter and hotter. He then asked, Shin do you think Lu Shaoqing is from any overlord power? Yes, I heard that Lu Shaoqing told others. Jushin said. Good, that's good. A murderous intent flashed in the Zhu clan's patriarch's eyes. Jushin was startled and said, Father, what are you trying to do? Shin as you know, our Zhu clan once had a 9 heavens supreme tens of thousands of years ago. It's a powerful force that's only second to the overlords, but it's still not as strong as it is today. At this rate, it's only a matter of time before we're wiped out in the middle continent. It's not enough to rely on that treasure alone, as the materials are too hard to find. However, Lu Shaoqing has a Grotto Heaven treasure. He must have found a great opportunity to become so powerful at such a young age. The martial arts, martial skills, secret techniques, and even the other treasures he has are absolutely shocking. If he belongs to our Zhu clan, together with that treasure, our Zhu clan will have a chance to rise again, the Zhu clan's patriarch said coldly, his eyes filled with anticipation. Father, are you planning to kill Lu Shaoqing? Jushin said with a trembling voice. No. Capture him first and seal his cultivation base. Then, force him to hand over his paradise treasure. Hand over all his treasures and reveal his secrets. After that, kill him. After all, a treasure like the paradise treasure must have been stored in his sea of consciousness. Even if we kill him, we won't be able to take it out. The Zhu clan's patriarch's eyes were very cold, and his voice was even colder. Jushin shuddered and said with a trembling voice, But father, Lu Shaoqing has saved me, twice. I can't bear to treat him like this. Silly. The Zhu clan's patriarch waved his sleeve and scolded, So what if he saved you? This world is so cruel. If you are indecisive and not ruthless enough, you won't be able to rise again. Sooner or later, you will die at the hands of others. Those who want to do big things don't care about trifles. As long as we can get Lu Shaoqing's secrets and treasures, our Zhu clan will have a chance to rise again. Do you want to see our Zhu clan decline? One more thing. You met Lu Shaoqing in the ancient herb garden, and later faced the encirclement of Coldblood Hall. You risked your life and didn't hand over the storage ring. Won't Lu Shaoqing be suspicious of all this? He will more or less think of something. If this news spreads and Coldblood Hall comes, our Zhu clan will be destroyed. So no matter what, Lu Shaoqing can't be allowed to live. The Zhu clan's patriarch stared at Jushin with bright eyes. Under the gaze of the Zhu clan's patriarch, Jushin wavered. In the end, she sighed and said, Father, Shin will listen to everything you say. Well, that's more like it. How about this? We'll hold a banquet for him tomorrow. I'll put Qingming powder in the food and wine. This kind of powder is colorless and tasteless. No matter how high one's cultivation is, he won't be able to sense it. Once he takes it, he won't be able to mobilize his genuine vitality. Since Lu Shaoqing cares so much about you, I guess he's interested in you and won't guard against you. When he takes the Qingming powder, he'll be at our mercy. The Zhu clan's patriarch had a look of confidence. Father, Lu Shaoqing is not a person to be trifled with. Qingming powder alone may not be enough. We can't let our guard down when facing such a genius, Jushin said. Yes, you're right. I was careless. I'll report to the patriarch and ask him to come out of seclusion. Even if something goes wrong, the patriarch can easily suppress Lu Shaoqing. Chapter 1047. The father and daughter discussed for a while more before Ju Xin left the Ju clan patriarch's room. Ju Xin let out a long sigh as she gazed at the bright moon in the sky. Lu Shaoqing, I hope you don't blame me. All of you are peerless geniuses with great fortuitous encounters and are high and mighty. But people like us who don't have the best natural talent have to use some methods to rise up. Otherwise, how can we compare to all of you? Ju Xin murmured to herself. Slowly, her gaze became firm. The night passed quickly. At noon the next day, Ju Xin's voice sounded from outside Lu Ming's room. Young Master Lu. Ju Xin called out softly. Lu Ming ended his cultivation and opened the door. He saw Ju Xin standing gracefully at the door. Ju Xin had specially dressed up today. She looked like a lotus flower that had just emerged from the water and was pillously beautiful. To be honest, Ju Xin was a rare beauty. Many men would be moved by her. However, Lu Ming had seen too many beauties. Xian Yanqing, Jing Kongling, Sandalwood Fairy. Every single one of them was devastatingly beautiful and peerless. There was also Mid-Autumn Moon and Mulins. They were also rare in the world and far from what Ju Xin could compare to. So, Ju Xin seemed very ordinary in Lu Ming's eyes. Miss Ju. Lu Ming smiled lightly. Young Master Lu, my father has prepared a banquet to thank you. Ju Xin smiled sweetly. Patriarch Ju is too courteous. Then let's go. Lu Ming smiled faintly and followed Ju Xin out. After a while, they arrived at the courtyard of the Ju clan patriarch's estate. Ha ha ha, young Master Lu, you're here. Please. As soon as Lu Ming arrived, the Ju clan patriarch came over to greet him. There were two old men beside the Ju clan patriarch. Lu Ming swept them with his gaze and noticed that the two old men's auras were thick. They were actually spirit god realm experts. However, they shouldn't be too strong and should be at the first level of the spirit god realm. The Ju clan patriarch was obviously stronger. Lu Ming guessed that the Ju clan patriarch might be at the second level of the spirit god realm. Patriarch Ju is too courteous. Lu Ming cupped his fists and walked into the courtyard with the Ju clan head and the others. The courtyard was already filled with fine wine and delicacies. It was extremely sumptuous. The dishes were not ordinary. There were flood dragon tendons, lightning bird wings, 1,000-year fire lobsters, and so on. They were all rare delicacies. If eaten regularly, they would be greatly beneficial to a martial artist's cultivation. They were extremely expensive, and ordinary people would never be able to see them in their entire lives. Everyone sat down and Ju Xin poured wine for everyone. She raised her cup and said, Young Master Lu, Ju Xin offers you a toast. Thank you for saving us. Haha, Miss Ju, Patriarch Ju, you're too polite. Lu Ming smiled. The father and daughter of the Ju family were too polite, making Lu Ming a little embarrassed. Lu Ming picked up the wine glass. He did not feel anything strange and drank it in one gulp. Seeing Lu Ming drinking the wine, the patriarch of the Ju clan and the two old men were pleasantly surprised. In Ju Xin's eyes, there was a hint of reluctance, but it was quickly replaced by determination. Good wine. Lu Ming drank it and sighed with praise, and he still seemed as if he hadn't noticed anything unusual. Haha, since young Master Lu thinks it's good wine, then drink a few more cup, said the Ju clan's patriarch with a smile. It is good wine. Unfortunately, it's poisoned, so it isn't good wine anymore. Lu Ming spoke abruptly. What? The Ju clan's patriarch and the others were slightly stunned. Kill. Lu Ming suddenly roared explosively as dragon energy erupted, and then he slapped his palm towards one of the old men. This palm strike caught the old man off guard, and he didn't have the time to defend himself at all before Lu Ming's palm struck him. A shrill cry resounded as the old man's body was directly split into pieces. Damn it! The Ju clan's patriarch roared furiously. An old man at the domain enlightened spirit god realm had been instantly annihilated, and his heart was on the verge of bleeding. There weren't many domain enlightened spirit gods in his Ju clan, and they'd accumulated them for a few thousands of years. Now, one had perished in an instant. Bang! A violent aura erupted from the Ju clan's patriarch as he smashed his palm towards Lu Ming. This palm strike was like an avalanche that caused the heavens and the earth to shake. The table and the dishes on it were instantly transformed into powder, and Lu Ming felt a strand of terrifying force surge towards him. This was the strength of a second-level domain enlightened spirit god. Lu Ming seized the opportunity to slap his palm out, and it collided with the Zhu clan's patriarch's palm. A force that could topple mountains and overturn seas surged over, causing Lu Ming's body to shake violently before he was blasted flying. After that, he took over 10 steps successively on the ground, and every single step he took blasted open a large hole in the ground while the ground trembled without end. What formidable force! Let's go! Lu Ming didn't hesitate in the slightest to take a step forward, and the entire mountain shook violently as a terrifying force erupted, causing the mountain to be on the verge of exploding. If the Zhu clan's main peaks hadn't been inscribed with grand formations, they would have probably exploded into pieces by now. Lu Ming's figure shot into the sky. Stay right there. The Zhu clan's patriarch and another old man shot into the sky, and then their terrifying attacks blasted towards Lu Ming. I'll smash it. Dandan rushed out, and its 4 limbs retracted into its tortoise shell as it smashed towards the Zhu clan's patriarch. Boom! The Zhu clan's patriarch slammed his palm onto the tortoise shell, sending Dandan flying. However, with this delay, Lu Ming had already rushed into the sky and was prepared to use the 9 dragons' heaven stomping steps to escape. Right at this moment, boom! Above Lu Ming's head, a mighty and unstoppable force erupted and landed on Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's body seemed to have been smashed by a primordial divine mountain, and he plummeted downwards like a cannonball before crashing heavily onto the ground, creating a large hole. Lu Ming half knelt on the ground, his face pale as he coughed out blood continuously. In the sky, a white-haired old man appeared. The aura on his body was incomparably terrifying, mighty, and unfathomable. Earlier on, it was this old man who blasted Lu Ming down with a single palm strike. Dandan wanted to escape, but the old man waved his hand and condensed a gigantic palm that blotted out the sky, grabbing Dandan in the palm. 4th-level spirit god realm and above. Lu Ming's heart sank. This old man's cultivation must have reached the 4th level of the spirit god realm or even higher. He did not expect the Zhu clan to have such a powerful existence. Then, Lu Ming turned his gaze towards Zhu Xin and shouted with a cold gaze, "Why?" Lu Ming was truly in disbelief. He had never expected the Zhu clan to attack him. Lu Shaoqing, hand over your grotto heaven treasure and the cultivation technique and martial technique you're cultivating. Tell me the secret of how you became stronger. Don't say that it's because of talent. For a paragon to rise, talent is one aspect, opportunity is another. The Zhu clan's patriarch walked to Lu Ming and said coldly, "Ha ha ha, I see." Lu Ming suddenly burst out laughing. He now understood that the people of the Zhu clan were after his mountain and river pattern and some other treasures. Ingrates. The Zhu clan was a complete bunch of ingrates. He had saved Zhu Xin twice, but the Zhu clan turned hostile in the blink of an eye and wanted to deal with him. How ridiculous was that? Zhu Xin's eyes flickered with a hint of pity, but she clenched her teeth and did not say anything. Roar. A dragon's roar was suddenly heard as the bloodline of the 9 dragons appeared. Lu Ming transformed into 9 dragons and soared into the sky. 9 dragons, it's the bloodline of the 9 dragons. Chapter 1048. You won't be able to leave today. Stay here. Forefather Zhu let out a long roar, and his aura soared into the sky like a pillar, shaking heaven and earth. He struck out with a palm that was as large as a mountain, blocking Lu Ming's path of retreat. The palm struck the 9 dragons. Lu Ming burst forth with all his strength. The power of 7 dragons and 5 kinds of concepts burst forth. The hell-suppressing celestial skill also burst forth to the extreme. 9 transformations consecutive steps. Lu Ming released his peak attack. Rumble. The giant palm formed by Forefather Zhu actually trembled slightly. Forefather Zhu's expression was incomparably solemn as he sighed. A perfected spirit embryo is actually so powerful. It's simply terrifying. Since I've already offended this kid, I definitely can't let him leave. Patriarch Zhu and the other elder were also astonished. Forefather Ju was a 4th-level spirit god, but he let out such a sigh. It was truly shocking. Boom. Forefather Ju's aura became stronger, and the power of his palm burst forth. Bang! Bang! Explosions rang out continuously on the 9 dragons' bodies before they collapsed. Lu Ming's figure reappeared and landed on the ground, coughing up large mouthfuls of blood. Forefather Ju was simply too strong. Even if he used all his strength, it was difficult for him to charge out. Swoosh! Forefather Ju appeared in front of Lu Ming and pointed his finger continuously. Lu Ming couldn't block it at all. Poof! Poof! Streams of finger force entered Lu Ming's body. Boundless true essence poured in and sealed Lu Ming's true essence. Lu Ming couldn't mobilize a trace of true essence. Buzz! A small pagoda flew out from the heart of Forefather Ju's brows. The small pagoda flew out and quickly grew in size. It floated above Lu Ming's head and scattered rays of light that entered Lu Ming's body. At this moment, Lu Ming felt that not only could he not circulate his true essence, but even his concept runes were sealed. He couldn't even use his concepts. I've already sealed this kid with the essence sealing pagoda. He can't use his true essence, bloodline, or concepts. He can't escape. Forefather Ju said. Light spread from one of his hands. Dandan was sealed inside. You little thieves, quickly let me go. Otherwise, I'll make sure you die without a burial ground in the future. Dandan's voice came from the turtle shell as it retracted its limbs. Puny demonic beast, you're courting death. Forefather Ju shouted. He circulated his vital energy and squeezed hard, wanting to crush the Dandan. But in the next moment, Forefather Ju's expression changed. He found that Dandan was motionless. Ha ha ha, old man, you want to kill me with your pitiful strength. Keep dreaming. Let me tell you, hurry up and release me, and release that brat. Otherwise, when I show my power, you can just wait to die. Dandan roared with laughter. Dandan had eaten a lot of elixirs recently and had recovered a lot. Forefather Ju's face turned slightly red. He couldn't even crush a little turtle. He was a little embarrassed. He said coldly, I'll refine you later. Then, he looked at Patriarch Ju and said, this kid has been suppressed now. He must have a big secret on him. I'll leave the rest to you. With that, Forefather Ju stepped into the air and left this place. Patriarch Ju looked at Lu Ming and said, Lu Shaoqing, now that you're in our hands, hand over your Grotto Heaven treasure and cultivation method and martial technique. Haha, if you want to kill me, then kill me. Lu Ming's gaze was very cold. He glanced at Patriarch Ju, Ju Xin, and the other old man. This made them shiver involuntarily. The head of the Ju family snorted coldly. He reached out his hand and sucked the storage ring from Lu Ming's finger into his hand. He scanned the storage ring with his mind and checked it. After a while, his face sank and he looked ugly. There were quite a lot of things in the storage ring, but they were not particularly valuable. There were no rare treasures that could tempt him. Lu Ming sneered. Most of his valuable treasures were placed in one of the mountains in the mountain river diagram. His second body had set up an illusory and real formation on this mountain. Other than Lu Ming, no one could find it. One would encounter danger when wandering outside. He was afraid that one day, if he encountered danger, the treasures would fall into the hands of others. Lu Shaoqing, hand over the Grotto Heaven treasure, or I'll make you suffer a fate worse than death. Patriarch Ju's eyes flashed with killing intent. Ha ha. Lu Ming sneered. His gaze became even colder as he said, if I escape in the future, I'll definitely kill the Ju family. You won't have the chance. Patriarch Ju said coldly. His true essence spread out and formed a true essence ribbon. He carried Lu Ming and stepped into the air. Ju Xin and the other old man followed. Very soon, the head of the Ju family brought Lu Ming to a cave and they walked in. The cave was slanted downwards. No one knew where it led to. Lu Ming felt that as they went deeper and deeper, the temperature around them became higher and higher. It made him feel hot all over. Patriarch Ju and the others used their true essence to resist, but Lu Ming could not use his true essence. The terrifying temperature directly affected his body, causing him to feel a piercing pain. However, Lu Ming did not even frown. He allowed Patriarch Ju to lead him. After walking for half an hour, they finally reached the end. This was a huge underground cave. They stood on top of a cliff and looked forward. Below them was endless purple-red magma. The temperature here was terrifyingly high. The surface of Lu Ming's body was a little red, and waves of piercing pain came. With the current strength of Lu Ming's physical body, even if ordinary flames were to roast Lu Ming, they would not be able to burn a single hair on Lu Ming's body. Obviously, the magma here and the flames here were extraordinary. The temperature was terrifyingly high. The temperature of the magma here was more than 100 times higher than ordinary magma. Lu Ming felt that not only was his physical body in pain, but even the blood in his body was boiling. His soul felt like it was being torn apart, and there were waves of intense pain. Spirit-burning earth flames. Lu Ming frowned as he recognized this flame. Lu Shaoqing, are you going to hand it over or not? You're a smart person. If you hand it over, I'll give you a quick death. Otherwise, enjoy the taste of this spirit-burning earth flames, Patriarch Ju said coldly. However, Lu Ming only responded with a disdainful sneer. Stubborn, I'll fulfill your wish. With a push of his palm, Lu Ming's body fell towards the magma and floated above it. Hoo-hoo, terrifying purplish-red flames surged and enveloped Lu Ming. The terrifying temperature seeped into Lu Ming's body and began to burn. Waves of unimaginable pain drowned Lu Ming. Not only his physical body, but also his soul. Pain, unimaginable pain. Even with Lu Ming's wisdom, he groaned and broke out in cold sweat. However, the moment the cold sweat appeared, it evaporated in an instant. Hoo-hoo, Lu Ming panted heavily, gritting his teeth and persevering. He had once stepped on the Heavenly King Monument's stairs and suffered countless attacks. Some pierced his soul, and it was also extremely painful. Similarly, when he cultivated the Twin Life Forbidden technique, his soul needed to be split into two. That was also unimaginable pain. Therefore, Lu Ming's endurance was better than ordinary people. He adjusted his breathing and calmed himself down. Patriarch Ju's eyes were cold at first, but slowly, they were filled with shock. Chapter 1049. In his imagination, Lu Ming should have roared, wailed, screamed, and begged for mercy. However, he didn't see any of that. He knew how terrifying the burning God-Earth flame was. In the past, he had brought many people who had offended him and none of them could last more than 5 minutes. All of them screamed and begged for mercy. There were even some who begged for death because being in the burning God-Earth flame was worse than death. However, more than 10 minutes had passed and Lu Ming was sitting calmly on top of the magma as if he was sitting in a normal place. This kid is too shocking. He's a terrifying monster. We can't let him leave alive. Patriarch Ju's heart trembled slightly. Father, I'll go back first. Jushin said with pity in her eyes. All right, you go first. Patriarch Ju said. Jushin glanced at Lu Ming before turning to leave. Let's see how long you can endure. Patriarch Ju's eyes were cold as he formed a seal with both hands. The ceiling Yuan Tower shook and a few iron chains fell from the top. They pierced Lu Ming's shoulder and locked Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming gave a muffled snort. He cast a cold glance at the head of the Ju family and then closed his eyes. He had locked his physical body with metal chains and used the essence sealing pagoda to suppress his quintessential essence and intent, making him unable to resist at all. The head of the Ju family was afraid that Lu Ming would escape. Terrifying flames were burning Lu Ming's body all around. Unimaginable pain came in waves. At first, Lu Ming was suffering bitterly, but slowly, he calmed down. No matter how great the pain is, it won't shake my heart. This is just a trial on my martial path. No matter how much he suffers, I won't move. Lu Ming gradually calmed down. In the end, he entered an ethereal state. The pain was leaving him. In the end, Lu Ming seemed to have become one with heaven and earth. It was a wonderful state. In ancient records, it was called Tao Enlightenment. One with heaven and earth, breaking free from the shackles of the physical body and comprehending the great Tao of heaven and earth. No one would have thought that burning Lu Ming with the god-burning earth flame would instead cause Lu Ming's mind to become empty and enter a mysterious state. Time flew by. Half an hour, 1 hour, 5 hours, half a day, 1 day, 3 days later, Lu Ming was still sitting calmly on top of the magma, motionless. The patriarch of the Zhu clan and the old man were shocked at the beginning, but they were now numb to it. Lu Ming was actually sitting there, motionless. If not for the fact that his body was still filled with vitality, they would have thought that Lu Ming was already dead. This kid is truly heaven-defying. He can actually endure for 3 days. The old man spoke with a trembling voice. All peerless geniuses have extraordinary willpower and willpower. This person is definitely terrifying since he was able to defeat Sanguinarum. However, as long as he's human, there's a limit. He's just enduring it now. I don't believe that he can endure it forever, the patriarch of the Zhu clan said. Never in his wildest dreams would he have thought that Lu Ming had already entered the ethereal state. 10,000 tribulations were on him and he was like a gentle breeze. They continued to wait. In the blink of an eye, 7 days had passed. Lu Ming was still sitting calmly on top of the magma. The patriarch of the Zhu clan gritted his teeth. Lu Shaoqing, are you going to hand it over or not? If you hand it over, you won't have to suffer this pain. The patriarch of the Zhu clan asked loudly. In the past 7 days, this was the 32nd time he had asked. Lu Ming closed his eyes. Just like before, he couldn't be bothered with him. Fine, fine. If you don't want to talk, then stay here forever and suffer the pain of the god-burning earth flame. Elder Shan, let's go. The patriarch of the Zhu clan waved his sleeves and strode out. He had lost his patience. The two of them left the place. Then, along the way, there were stone doors that were closed and sealed off. Lu Ming's physical body was sealed and his cultivation was suppressed. He couldn't cause any trouble. They planned to suppress Lu Ming here and see how long he could last. Lu Ming sat cross-legged on top of the magma without moving. He entered a mysterious state and forgot everything. He only instinctively comprehended the great Tao of heaven and earth and the intent realm of heaven and earth. Time passed quickly like flowing water. Day after day passed. In the beginning, the patriarch of the Zhu clan would come here every 7 days to interrogate Lu Ming. Later on, he came once a month. In the blink of an eye, a year had passed. Lu Ming had been suppressed here for a full year. In a cave abode of the Zhu clan, the patriarch of the Zhu clan sat cross-legged. His palm was burning a tortoise shell. This tortoise shell was Dandan. Little thief, I told you that you can't do anything to me. Just wait for your death. Dandan shouted in the tortoise shell. When the flames dissipated, the patriarch of the Zhu clan looked at the tortoise shell in his hand with an extremely serious expression. In the past year, he had used all kinds of methods, but he couldn't do anything to Dandan. He couldn't kill it no matter what. This shocked him and made him feel more and more afraid. Moreover, he had also heard that Lu Ming had been suppressed in the burning divine earth flame for a year and had not moved at all. He had actually endured for a full year. All of this made Patriarch Zhu feel a sense of horror. He could not calm down. At this moment, a figure walked in. It was the patriarch of the Zhu clan. How is Lu Shaoqing? The patriarch of the Zhu clan asked. That kid still hasn't said a word. He really deserves to die. The patriarch of the Zhu clan gritted his teeth. We can't continue like this. That kid and this tortoise are too evil. We can't let them live. Let's wait for another 3 months. If that kid still doesn't speak after 3 months, we'll kill him. And this tortoise, after we kill that kid, I'll go out and ask a supreme to destroy this tortoise. The patriarch of the Zhu clan said. All right. The patriarch of the Zhu clan nodded helplessly. If they killed Lu Ming, they wouldn't be able to obtain the paradise treasure. All their efforts would be in vain. However, keeping Lu Ming alive made the patriarch of the Zhu clan increasingly flustered. Lu Ming was too evil. Keeping him alive was too dangerous. In the underground cavern, Lu Ming was still sitting cross-legged above the lava. The essence sealing pagoda hovered above his head, suppressing Lu Ming. He couldn't use his veritable essence energy, bloodline, or state. However, Just at this moment, a scarlet light suddenly spread out from his spine. Slowly, the scarlet light grew denser. In the end, the scarlet light flourished, suppressing the color of the purple-red lava. The entire underground cavern was filled with a scarlet light. Then, a drop of blood spread out from Lu Ming's spine and hovered above Lu Ming's head. This drop of blood was scarlet and crystalline. However, it seemed extremely cold. Boundless killing intent spread out from it. Moreover, it had a supreme might that filled the entire underground cavern. Whoosh! Lu Ming's eyes, which had been closed for a year, suddenly opened. Third bloodline. This is my third bloodline. Lu Ming's eyes shone. After sitting here for a year, his physical body and soul had gone through many tests. Now, he finally awakened his third bloodline. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.